afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, September 9, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a Time for Change call this Wednesday night, a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Now picture this, okay? All of us are seeking some form of a paradise. Be nice, wouldn't it? This depends on our perspective and what we believe is paradise out there. But paradise is not somewhere that you need a map to reach. You are in paradise. You have only fallen asleep. All that is needed is an awakening. Osho. That's very true. We've been taught for so long and programmed for so long, and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, to believe that everything is outside of us and that's where you're going to find it. And you need a map and we'll find paradise. We all live in cages of some type. Some type, shape, or form. When we feel disconnected from our spiritual nature, in other words, our natural state of being, anything or anyone can feel like a prison. Perhaps our physical body is a prison to some people, and I know that. I've talked to people where they feel, because of their condition of their physical body, they feel like they're in a prison. Or your financial situation, or emotion, spouse, or even our own limiting personality can make us feel stuck and trapped. Now, the very good news is that whatever cage you are locked up in actually has a key. And that key is sitting there, resting inside the lock, ready to be turned when you've had enough suffering and are ready to set your spirit free once again. Turning your key simply manifests on its own after understanding a few basic principles about what real freedom is and what it is not. Being totally wild and absolutely free is not some radical, rebellious, and disrespectful approach to this life, although we've been taught that it is. It is also not about conquering some controlling authority out there, who is dictating the rules now how we should and shouldn't live our lives. We do not need permission. None of us do. Ever. From anybody else to manifest the life we want to create. Real liberation in this life, or in life in general, is not a pushing away to find freedom from someone or from something. It is more peaceful than that. It is about finding that which is already free inside of us to be, do, and believe whatever we want. We hear a lot about freedom, don't we? Yeah. All kinds of versions of freedom. Real freedom is about recognizing how you already are the final word and ultimate authority of your life. It is knowing that what you honestly believe is what becomes real. And this is the end truth and final reality. There are around 8.5 billion different realities on this planet now. And you are one of them. The moment we choose to believe we can be a wild, fully self-expressed, fun-free being is the exact same moment we realize that we already are the absolute final authority of our lives. You are. Nothing out there, no one, no being. The moment we choose to believe we can be a wild, fully self-expressed, fun-free being is the exact same moment we realize that we already are the absolute final authority of our lives. Truth is that we are already constantly manifesting everything in our lives. Wherever we place our attention for an extended period of time is where our energy flows and what we manifest. We are already one with the great God source. And it is creating everything around us through us. Our greatest freedom comes from understanding, comprehending this surrendering to this truth and feeling how it shows up in everything we do. Every action we take in this life is an expression and extension of our consciousness. Whatever you are feeling, whatever it is you're feeling about yourself and life, is emanating energy out into the world around you. You can argue that with your ego mind forever, but it still is. Nothing and no one is separate from each other. We are all impacting each other all the time. By becoming more sensitive to this truth, it becomes obvious how our own limiting beliefs are imprisoning us and stopping us from living the amazing life we were born to live. The greatest transformations in this life often show up in the most subtle and gentle forms. It is vital that we first see where the prisons exist in our lives, understanding how each one is sustained each day in order to demolish it from our own minds. Initially, we may not see the prison walls around us because we are so used to them. These invisible cell bars are all the limiting, skeptical, doubtful, and negative beliefs we carry each day. It is a long, compromising list of constructive, or I should say constrictive ideas that we tell ourselves who we are and what is impossible to achieve. To give yourself permission to be totally wild and absolutely free starts with finding and releasing every limiting belief which you are clinging to that makes you feel not so expansive and free. Find those heavy negative thoughts which you honestly feel are true and real about yourself, yet also make you feel sick, stuck, heavy, and very unhappy. Let them go, because they are just ideas which no longer serve your greatest good. Now, to some, this may sound ridiculously simple. Yet, when you reach down into the core of you, you'll find that the truth is that you are the God source itself, making up all the rules as you go. And that is all there is. When you are ready to empower yourself and manifest the most amazing life, you'll discover this truth. And then life just naturally becomes easier, more magical, more amazing. Now, in order to stop being attached to all our limiting beliefs and heavy thoughts, we must choose to deeply desire to be free. We must choose to feel into our suffering inside in order to let it go. There must be a visceral feeling in the body of the stuckness first in order for the release to be real. Then, we must choose to continuously step back from it and see how every apparently good and bad belief we had about who we are fall into the pile of small limiting beliefs. We must choose to leave behind all beliefs to be free. Let go of all of our disappointments, hopes, and fears, and we want to truly start living, because attachment to any belief will create some form of future suffering. This is why we suffer. We are not honest with ourselves. We do not sit down with the worst of ourselves. We suppress it, and it's unfortunate because as we suppress it, it comes out in buckets all around us and emanates out. You can't trick it. We must choose to live life as if everything could end tomorrow. And also be this eternal spiritual being who knows that nothing could ever destroy us. This is your life. So live it to the max. You don't know exactly how long you're going to be around, do you? Why spend your time in anxiousness and irritability and self-doubt and, covering and holding so much crap that it weighs you down and you emanate it out, and you're so used to emanating it out that you don't even know you're emanating it out. This universe has given you a mouth to smile with and a body to enjoy. Not waste a day that you are here on this beautiful planet. Go outside. Live your life today fully and truly. I invite you to feel what it's like to be totally freed from the good and bad opinions of others. For this next week of your life, imagine how it might feel in your body to be completely, truly, and honestly free from everyone's thoughts, opinions, and judgments of you. No matter what anyone says, could be your mom, your dad, or some stranger, it does not reflect in any way who or what you are at all. Instead, you realize that the divine, infinite, spiritual being who you truly are is beyond all thought and concepts completely. This is a non-attachment to others' opinions of you is one of the most self-loving, natural, and honorable ways we can live each day. This is the golden key that turns the lock to realizing at the core who and what we are is already a powerful, divine, magnificent spiritual being. This spirit and soul, who we really are, in essence, is already always free. Isn't that ironic? Take the risk to get to know your basic spiritual nature. Feel the essence of your infinite spirit inside. This is something that cannot be contained, imprisoned, nor taken away by anything or anyone in the outer world. Realizing this is real freedom, and this spiritually free feeling is our natural state of being. All exploration and expression from this place is the most loving act we can give to ourselves and others. The full expression of our real spiritual nature is the deepest gift we can give, as it is the greatest honoring of who we truly are. Now, some of us may think that becoming a wildly liberated human being is not the top priority on our to-do list this week. Yet, if it's not in there somewhere, you definitely aren't going to enjoy doing anything on that list of yours. Without wild freedom, your entire life becomes a chore, a burden, and a heavy job that must be accomplished just so that you get your wants and needs met. If you don't stop this nonsense, turn that golden key to unlocking spiritual freedom, you will miss out on the main core purpose of your life, which is to enjoy the short time you are here and alive. You ever met people that are constantly complaining about something? There's always something that they're complaining about. You know, it could be themselves, it could be other people, it could be anything. But they don't realize that they're constantly doing this. It's like a seduction. And they do it all the time, every waking moment. They don't realize that the frequency that they're emanating out will just continually create more and more and more of the same. There's always going to be something else that they can complain or be upset about, period. Now, you feel it, don't you? You feel it when you're around them, and you're saying, wow, it's like they're asleep, they don't know it. And it twists them and warps them in a way that they aren't even aware of. Have you ever been around people that are kind of like that? What do you want to do at that point? Well, you can view it, learn, believe it or not, and then not be around it. You ever done that? You ever just said, I don't really care to be around this? Now, the difference here is that when you come across some being who's the opposite of that, who facilitates things in a much lighter, loving, caring, floating, freer response and interaction. That's a higher energy, it's a higher frequency. What do you do with that? You gravitate towards it, because that's something that you're drawn to. You're not drawn to the, unless you're in that mix. You're not drawn to the opposite, the irritability, the stress, the anxiety, the worry, the fear, the anger. You know, that's not our natural state of being. That's why I say it twists people without them being aware of it. So you will naturally not gravitate to someone like that. Now, some of those people are the greatest teachers you'll ever have in life, believe it or not. But also, you determine what you want to attract, what you are drawn to. Well, you're drawn to happiness, you're drawn to pleasantry, you're drawn to, for yourself, deep eternal love, and others, and happiness and freeness. Non-seriousness. A tough one for a lot of people is what? What is it? How to continuously let go of what others think of you 24 hours a day. That's not easy. This means releasing what you think your immediate friends, family, co-workers, and lovers think about you. Most of us are controlled by that. And honestly, do you know exactly what goes on in their minds? When you drop what you think their opinions are of you, you can actually release whatever your opinions are about you, as long as you are attached to what anyone thinks about you. You'll never be able to be totally free from what your mind thinks, believes, and perceives about you. The mind is like a judgeaholic, It is. It's always judging. It's always judging. Always judging, comparing, and labeling something or someone, and then changing its mind again and again and again and again, judging again. It is a genius, and creating all sorts of fanatical, exaggerated opinions, beliefs, and stories. How do you think things get so out there? How do they get so out of context on this planet? One little rumor and look what happens. That's all the ego mind. Now, when you understand this truth, it's easy to totally let go of what others think of you, for their opinions will always change. This creates the space inside you to think outside the box and believe whatever you want to believe about who and what you are. Now, this spaciousness is the very source of your greatest freedom. So step back from your thoughts, for they are all borrowed ideas from other people anyway. Deep down, this life is more humorous and ironic than we realize. We are creating all of our suffering and joy all day long, every day. And we are responsible for it all. The irony is that each day along this lifelong journey, at the very core of our being, is a river of perpetual, loving, creative energy overflowing with deep healing peace. We do not have to go anywhere to find it. All we simply need to do is sit, become deeply relaxed in the body, train the mind to not cling to any thought that arises. It may take some time to relax the body, be truly cling-free, and deeply find peace. Yet, doing so, you will experience your soul essence and spiritual nature. There is nothing more important that you should be doing with your life. The more often you practice being at peace with what arises in the mind, the easier it becomes to experience every ordinary thing in this life as divine. God follows us wherever we go. Whenever the mind clings to something extra important or special, notice this with awareness and don't push it away. Do not label anything as bad, wrong, or a problem. If you do, this is in itself will become what's blocking you from feeling an enlightened, liberated state. Welcome all thoughts with great curiosity and explore what is beneath each one. You'll see that there is nothing there. Each thought is recycled information gifted from the outer world that we shouldn't take personally at all. Now, if and when you want to get down to the core of you, ask yourself some deep personal questions. What hole inside you are you trying to fill? Where do you feel trapped in your life and why? Write down these questions and your answers. Make this a 20-minute enlightening exercise that gently opens the door to your soul. When you discover where you feel trapped and empty, you'll see why you're clinging to those things that you cannot let go of. This understanding is the most important next step of your wild journey coming ahead. The real battle is won when we see that there are no real enemies out there at all, and that the only real enemy is the imaginary one within your own mind. This realization is a sacred path of our enlightenment, finding our inner wildness within is the bridge back to our spiritual essence, simply because our spiritual nature is wild, free, and untamable. Expressing this wild spirit within ourselves awakens us from the almighty ego trip we are on. It unlocks the door so that we can step into this vast universe, deeply take care of our wounded selves in the most sensitive, loving, and healing ways. When we discover this connection to our real spiritual nature, we instantly see how every human being is a soul and a spiritual gift to our lives as well. From this place, each being we encounter becomes the source of more love, joy, and inner peace in our lives. When we give ourselves permissions to feel spiritually connected, one amongst others, we truly become the wild, unstoppable, free being we were birthed to be. We no longer feel wounded, avoid others, or resist letting ourselves be nourished and loved. We start embracing the divinity that we all actually are. The more we practice feeling into this spiritual connection, the better life feels and the more real our divinity becomes. Understanding that you are a spiritual being, you realize there is nobody to fight with or against anymore. You see everyone as your friend and greatest teacher. when we can live 24 hours of one day knowing we are all sacred, divine, spiritual beings that will never, ever die, we will stop suffering completely. The fight will end with others and within ourselves. We can all then realize together that we are the ultimate authority of our individual realities and capable of creating heaven any moment we want to on this earth. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body. Focused on the breath rising and falling. There are so many rules, laws, and regulations that are placed on top of you that it's a miracle you can still breathe. Do not worry about whether others will be upset if you go against the flow of the flock of sheep. You will be doing everyone a great favor by letting your real creativity shine through, showing them how to step outside of their box. If they are a massive rule follower, they most likely feel stuck in a velvet rut, unsure their whole life is a lie. Be a courageous lion of love and a true leader of joy in your overly fearful community. Smile with your loving heart upon everyone. This will break their hypnotic spell. You can break free from all their concerns and worries. It is not your job to be on top of what others think. Listen to your heart. Know what your truth is. Knowing this, you will always make the right choices. This life is meant for you to be fully self-expressed. It's your time to shine and be absolutely free. It feels so freaking fun to let go, and it all hangs out. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, the following morning. We'll return here Tuesday, September 10, 2024. Then after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, and purest of the purest purest. Eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's happening out there or in here. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.